is Alex Kapitanakis for Atlas Vault and Atlas Group, and I want to take a few moments to talk to you about something I've spoken about several different times, but this time I want to talk about a little more detail. When I talk about what it is to be a central bank, your own central bank, I want to be clear and I want to explain how we expand from those prior very simple concepts as to what we really mean here. To be a central bank is, first of all, to control the money that's going out in your own value, to control what you have in your own control, your savings. To be a central bank is not in the classic sense to create money, because you can't create money. So we're obviously not telling you that you can print money. But what you can do that a central bank does is you can own the wealth that backs that money. And what does that mean? Wealth that central banks own that backs all of the shenanigans that they do when they create money is gold. When you buy gold and you control your gold, you are doing what central banks are doing all around the world. When you buy gold, you are controlling wealth. You are keeping wealth. You're not investing. You're preserving wealth to stay safe. Right now, we have a banking system in the United States and around the world that is in dire straits. It's in trouble. We have a central reserve, the Federal Reserve, that increased interest rates to the point where banks began to lose their ability to have backing for their wealth assets. What does that mean? You see that when the central bank kept increasing interest rates, it affected the price and the value of the treasury bills, the treasury bonds that banks were buying so that the banks would have value. And what has been happening is that the value of those bonds has gone down, and banks have had trouble, if on their books they've had trouble, because it's called an unrealized loss, because as the value of those bonds has gone down. As that has happened, the banking system has shown itself to be in dire trouble, in very serious problems, because their holdings are worth less. And when the banking system requires the banks to show in stress tests and in other forms why they're stable, the ability of those assets to give them strength has been diminished or destroyed. So that's why a lot of these banks have begun to go under and have needed to be bailed out. This is happening still all around the United States. It's happening as a country. And it's happening in Europe, and it's happening in other places as well. So what you need to understand is that banks have assets, and those assets have lost value, and that value is going to affect your savings, your money. How do you turn that around and go into becoming your own central bank? What banks have done with treasury bills and treasury bonds is that they haven't done what the Central Reserve has, or the Federal Reserve has done, which is to buy gold as a backing for what they're doing. So most people don't understand that the dollar is based on nothing. It's based on air. It's called fiat money. The euro is fiat money. It's based on air. It has no value. Gold, and banks know this, has 5,000 years of value, and it has value that will always be there. Intrinsic value. Mankind considers gold to be valuable, and that will always be the case. Whether something is invented or not invented, gold is going to maintain a value, intrinsic, that you hold. So banks around the world have been storing gold. Russia, China, many different countries have been storing gold. And this is happening at a higher rate now than ever before. This is important for you because the value of what you store, your value in your money, can be affected very severely overnight if you're not careful. Your savings can disappear if you're not careful. It happens in Argentina, it's happened in Venezuela, it's happened in Europe. It could happen anywhere, it could happen in the United States. If the factors that are in play now keep affecting the money, and those factors are the interest rates that are continually pressurizing banks, inflation that is being caused by the Federal Reserve increasing the money supply. All around the world, actually, the money supply is increasing beyond what's normally been acceptable. If those factors continue, plus one major factor that still hasn't been counted, the factor of the world powers that are organizing to de-dollarize. If the de-dollarization occurs successfully, and it's happening, if Saudi Arabia, Iran, Russia, China, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, and other countries unite to accept currency other than the United States dollar, the dollar will have a collapse. If you add that as a factor, if that is successful, what you will see is a tsunami of returning dollars back into the United States economy and to the economies of countries that use the dollar as their base. What that will mean is that the dollar will lose value exponentially. It will lose value almost overnight, like the Venezuelan bolivar. It will lose value. Will it be hyperinflation? Will it lose? I don't know, but it will lose an enormous amount of value and things will become extremely expensive. So when I say become your own central bank, I mean you convert your savings, convert savings into precious metals, into gold and silver. And that's not all that you do. You have to think about converting your savings into something. Of course, you convert a portion of your savings into gold and silver in your control, in your personal control, that you have the ability to know. No one else has the ability to extend liability to what you have. And you put it in a box like this that we have at Atlas. This would be yours. You put your gold and your silver in your personal box. You store it and you put it in our vault. In there, you have 100% control over everything that you have in the box. Only one person has a key to access, and that's you. No one else. There are two keys to open up the vault access. One key belongs to the vault, one key belongs to you. But only two keys can open those simultaneously, can open the vault, which means you have the control. You have the allocated gold in your possession, not in the vault's possession. That's a difference from other vaults. You have privacy and you have 100% allocated gold in your own private possession. No one else. No one else can access it. No one else can touch it. Now that's one part of being your own central bank. One part. The second part is you need to be able to have access to liquidity like a central bank does. You need to be able to convert it. Convert that gold when you need it into the currency that you want to spend. And we have a way for you to do that now. What we have done is we have united in a partnership with Kinesis Money. And Kinesis Money has made Atlas one vault in its hub. It's made Atlas a hub of its enterprise, which means they have 13 vaults around the world. Atlas is now one of those 13 vaults. What that means is you can now take, Atlas has an account, they have an account with us. Kinesis has an account with Atlas, and they have a box or several boxes that contain gold. You can now, you now can take your gold out of your box and tell Atlas to place it with Kinesis. Kinesis will then verify your gold is your gold, it's actual gold, and then once they do that, accept it, they convert your gold into KAUs. KAUs are their tokenized gold that's represented 1-to-1 around the world as gold, but it's digital. So that means that your ounce of gold is converted into the equivalent of KAUs, which are then electronically spendable and movable. You can now take that 30 or whatever that KAU amount is, let's say 30 KAUs, and you can now have it on your platform, your app, and you can then either send it to somebody, you can spend it as KAUs, or you can convert it on the app into dollars by purchasing the dollars for the value of the gold that you had, and then you deposit it into your bank. That's liquidity. And you can also go to any of the vaults that are hubs for Kinesis around the world that they have, and you can say, I have KAUs, I want the equivalent of those KAUs in actual gold. And then once you go through the process and they approve of it, you can then take your KAUs, convert them into physical gold, and store them wherever you want. That is the liquidity. By that is what I've often termed the on and off ramp for gold and silver, because you can do that with silver as well. So with our alliance and partnership with Kinesis Money, you can now take what you have stored in Atlas and convert it into digital, which then converts into dollars when you want it, or euros, or even Bitcoin. You can through their app, you can purchase other cryptos with the value that you have. This is something that is an incredible tool for all of us. And I'm proud to say that we can now offer that. And it gives you a freedom and an alternative to the system that exists right now. This is the parallel system I've spoken about so many times. This is your ability to now have your physical gold or silver stored with us privately outside the system, and still maintain liquidity and be able to have the freedom to spend your money however you want and stay and keep private as we all have a right to do. This is freedom. This is the way that I want us all to be able to do this. And this is what we offer now. This is why we are now saying, be your own central bank. Be your own central bank by having your wealth in something that doesn't evaporate overnight, that isn't controlled by politicians or by bankers. Gold. Gold keeps you safe, but you need to have it in a safe place. You need to have it where you control it. You need to have it where you are the master of your wealth. And now you can also convert it. You have the freedom to convert it into something electronic that is based on 1-to-1. 1 ounce of gold, or one gram of gold equals 1 KAU. 1 to 1. That gives you such a freedom. And with Kinesis, they even offer you a Visa card or a debit card. I'm not sure if it's Visa now, but they offer you a debit card that lets you spend. This is the freedom of having your own system and being part of your own parallel financial system. And at Atlas, we not only provide this, but we also have, proudly, we have a network of people that we allow to get together and exchange ideas. And this is how we get strong. This is how we will grow, by allowing us to exchange our ideas and protect ourselves from what's going on in the world every day. This is going to keep us free, or freer than we have been before, because it's happening. The world is growing. The politicians are clamping down on us every day, and we need to find alternatives to stay free and to keep our wealth protected for our children and for our children's children. So let's get together. Let's organize this, and give us a call and let us know if you have any questions. But get together and do something about becoming your own central bank. Do something as soon as you can, because times are changing very quickly. Don't let time pass you by. Give us a call. Thank you.